Hello students, welcome to Programming Reference Point. Today we are going to start Unit 3 Introduction to Python Chapter 1 Getting Started. In this chapter basically we are going to talk about Python and the basics of the Python. So let's start with the introduction of the Python. Python was created by Guido van Rossum and this language was released in the year of 1991. Python can be used for both procedural programming as well as the object-oriented programming. When we talk about the procedural programming, that means a program which is created using the approach of subroutines, functions like that. But when we are talking about the class and object-oriented approach, that means a program which is written using the class and objects. And the moreover, the important thing is what Python is free to use. This is the most important thing. Now let us see what are the features of the Python, what makes it so popular. Let's see. So let's discuss some of the features of the Python, what has make it so popular. First of all, it is a general purpose programming language which can be used for both scientific and non-scientific programming. It means what? This programming language can be used to create any kind of software. Let's say you can create a software for the school purpose, and at the same time you can create a software which can be used for the scientific research field. Okay, it is platform independent. When we're talking about it is platform independent, that means uniformly it can be used in any platform. Means you can use it in a desktop, laptop, mobile, tab, or if you talk about the operating system, it can easily run in the Windows, Mac OS, Linux, everywhere it can run very easily. Okay, so if there is any differences among the hardware and the software, doesn't matter, it can run in any platform easily. That is why it is called what the platform independent. Simple language, it is very simple high level language with vast library of add-on modules. Okay, so before this, what are the language programming languages have come? What happened? The name were very difficult to memorize and it was complex. But when we talk about the Python, it is simple, but again it is a high level language and it contains a huge variety of libraries which contains some predefined modules or the functions so that we can use it very easily. Since it is very simple, yes, it is excellent for the beginners, and since it is easily readable and understandable, it is easy to learn and use. Because of these features only, nowadays Python is used by many of the companies. Now let us see some of the popular companies who are using the Python. Let's see. These are the list of the companies which are using a Python. Let's see one by one. In operation of Google search engine, you must have heard about the term SEO, search engine operations. Okay, Google search engine and the YouTube Python is used. BitTorrent peer-to-peer file sharing is written using Python only. For the hardware testing, it uses what? Python language. What are those companies? Intel, Cisco, HP and IBM. Maya, you may have heard about the Maya. Maya is a software in the field of the multimedia. So Maya provides a Python scripting API. iRobot uses Python to develop commercial robot, means the robot also which are developed nowadays. So the functionality and the programming which is done, it is done using what? Using Python. Now let's talk about the NASA. NASA and other use Python for their scientific programming tasks. As I have already discussed with you, Python is both is a programming language, can be used for both scientific and the non-scientific approaches. Okay, so here some of the latest company which are using Python for revenue generating. Okay, now let us see what are the different type of modes, how we can write down the programming. Python shell can be used in a two different way. One is the interactive and another is an interactive mode, another is the scripting mode. I shall take you to the screen of my desktop so that you can see how we can interact with this one. So let's see the screen. So I have come to the screen of my desktop. Let's go to start all programs. Now I'm looking for the Python which is installed. So here it is, Python 3.6. From here I have to open IDLE Python 3.6 of 32-bit. Okay. So now the Python shell has got open. Now you can see the three angular brackets are there. So this is what the Python shell. This is what the interactive mode. Here I will give a print command. It is used to display something. Print hello. So simply write down hello within double quotation or whatever the message I'm typing hello. Press enter. It will display you the hello. Now you can have the script. Okay. So file new, from there you can write down. Here I am writing a function. The name of the function is the display. It will give you a message, welcome to the world of Python. It's very simple. So once you finished writing this one, what you need to do, you have to save the file. Let's see. Control S. So file name you can give anything, but make sure the extension should be .py. Save it. Okay, now press F5. This kind of message will appear. The name of the function was display, so I will write and enter. So it is showing welcome to the world of Python. Let's talk about variables. What are the variables? Variables are defined as the reserved memory locations to store values. What is this? For this, let's take an example. Let's say this is what your RAM. Fine. So every memory address, let's assume it has its own memory address. So what variables are they? These are the, let's say we have declared a variable called I. Okay, so the I is referring to the memory address, that is what the 2000. Okay, so variables can be defined as reserved memory locations. These are the you can say the named reserved memory location, and what we can do, we can store some value over here. So let's say if I write I is equals to 10, so in this particular memory address 10 will be stored. Okay, this means that when we create a variable, we reserve some space in memory. Now in Python, variable and object, actual variables are termed as object only. The object variable is name which refers to a value. Every object over here, don't get confused, over here object means variable only, has three attributes. The first is the identity, the second is what the type, and the third one is what the value. Now what is the identity? Basically identity is nothing, it is referring to the memory address of the variable. Next type, now what kind of data you have stored over here, just like the example that we have taken, 10 is what it is, an integer. Okay, you can store string, float, or some other data type. So the variable is having what identity, type means what kind of a value it can store, and then next is what the value. Okay, so the value of the I is what it is, 10. So the three things. So here let me write down identity of I, that is what the memory address 2000. Okay, so what kind of data is stored, that is what type, it is integer, and what is the value, the value is what it is, 10. Okay, so these are the three attributes of every object in the Python present. Now let's talk about the different data types is present in the Python. So this is what the hierarchy of the data types that we are going to use in the Python. Let's talk about the first one. That is what the numbers. From the number itself, it is clear. That means we are this kind of data type is going to store numbers only. Now there are three type of numbers. One is the integer, which is further categorized into Boolean, floating number, and the complex. Integer basically is going to store whole numbers. It can be negative or positive also. When we talk about the floating number, we can store decimal values over here, and complex means we can store over here complex numbers which contains the real and the imaginary values. Okay, next we have what none is something it shows none means null. Okay, next is what the sequence, which is further categorized into string, tuple, and this will be going through each and every data type. Sets, mappings, under mappings we are having dictionary. Okay, so let's start with numbers. Number data types store numerical values, that means which are numbers. It is immutable. Immutable means you cannot change it. Regarding immutable and mutable, we will study later on in depth. It is immutable. There are three different types. One is integer and long, float or floating point, and complex. Let's talk about integer and long. Integers are the whole numbers consisting of the positive or the negative sign. These are the integers number, basically the whole numbers. Now the range of integers can be from, this is what the range of the integers. And sometimes if you want to store long integer, so if you want to store long integer, then the value at the end we have to append like this L. Okay, how it can be, let me show you. Let's say an integer, if you want to store, it's very simple. I is equals to, you have written, let's say 15. So this is what the integer is saved. But if you want to store a long integer, for this you have to write something like this. Let's say you have written something like this and you want to represent it as a long integer, you have to write what, L after it. So this will be treated as the long integer. Fine. Now if we talk about what is the range of the long integer has the unlimited range subject to the available memory. It means as much as memory is available in your computer, long integer can reach to that limit. So it is having no limit basically. It depends on the memory present in your computer. Now let's talk about the floating point. Numbers with fractions or decimals. Now let's talk about the floating point. Numbers with a fraction or the decimal point is called the floating points. Okay, what can be the example? The example is very easy. Let's say y is equals to 56.24. So this is what an example of the floating number. Now let's talk about the complex number. Well, we know what is a complex number. Complex number is made up of two floating points. One is the real and another is what, the imaginary part. Fine. So how we can represent it? Let's say this is what the Python shell, and here let's say, sorry, it should be x equals to 1 plus 5j. Instead of I, we write over here j. So this is what a complex number over here. Now if you want to print the real and the imaginary part, for this you have to write print x dot real comma x dot image. Okay, and the output will come something like this. It will come something like this. Okay, so this is what the complex number. So here we have finished the number category. Now let's talk about non-data type. Non-data type means what? The non-keyword. It should not be keyboard, it should be keyword. Keyword is used to define a null value or no value at all. Okay, just like in the other programming languages, we are quite familiar with the null keyword. So same thing over here in the Python, we are having none keyword. Okay, next is what the sequence. A sequence is an ordered collection of items indexed by positive numbers. It is combination of mutable and non-mutable data types. Over here, ordered collections of items, that means they are, we can identify some sort of index just like in the array we can do. And it is a combination of the mutable we can change, and non-mutable we cannot change. I have already told you for the mutable and the non-mutable we will discuss it separately in depth. So let's talk about the first category of the sequence. First is what the string is. What a collection of character is what is a string. Okay, just like if we write India is it's a collection of characters. Okay, it's an ordered sequence of characters. So itself it is what it is, a string. String can be enclosed within single quotation. That means I can write within single quotation or I can write within double quotation, but make sure it should not be like that you have started with double quotation and ended with single quotation, or you maybe started with the single quotation and ended with the double quotation. Both approach will be wrong. So if you are using single quotation, please use single quotation, and if you are using double quotation, please use double quotation only. Okay, next is what list. List is also a sequence of values of any value in the list are called elements or item. Okay, it is mutable, that means we can change it. It is indexed or ordered, and it is enclosed within the square brackets. Let's take an example. Fruits is here I have created one list. Now you can see whatever the names I have written, all are written within the square brackets, and over here they are separated using comma. Apple, comma, banana, comma, cherry, I have written it. If I want to display the contents or the elements of the list, then for this I have to use the print command. Within the print command I have to write down the name of the list I want to print, and this will be the output. Basically the contents of the fruits list, it will be displayed over here. Next, third kind of list we are having. Tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. It is written within the round bracket. For this, let's take an example. Roll equals to, it is written within the round brackets, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. So this is what the tuple. Okay, it is ordered unchangeable, that is what it is, uh, immutable. Okay, and it is written within the round brackets. Next, let's talk about sets. What is a set? A set is a collection which is unordered. So previously list what we have seen, it was what ordered and indexed, and when we talk about set, it is a collection which is unordered and unindexed. No indexing is done. They are written within curly bracket, or we can write like this. We will start with the square bracket, then round bracket, then we will close accordingly. Okay, let me show you an example. It's a very simple example. Here this is what the Python shell. Here we have written s is equals to, s is basically a set we have taken, set we have written. Now within we could have used the curly braces also. I have approached this one. So here I have stored some of the values 11, 12, 13, and then I try to print. Once I executed this one, so in this way the value of the sets are displayed. Next is mapping. This data type is unordered and mutable. Dictionaries fall under mappings. Let's talk about the dictionaries. In the dictionary, whatever the value we are going to store, basically they are stored as a key value pair. Okay. A dictionary is a collection which is unordered, changeable, and indexed. In Python, dictionaries are written with curly brackets. What they store is a key value pairs. Let's see an example. Here I have declared a dictionary named as my dict. Stu name, it's Neelam, age 16, city Durgapur. Okay, so over here, Stu name and Neelam, this is what the key and this is what the value. Age is the key and 16 is the value. City is the key and Durgapur is the value. Okay, now if I want to print, when I will try to print this dictionary, the output will come something like this. So here students, we have covered what are the data types of the Python. In the next video, we are going to discuss about the mutable and immutable variables. By that time, if you have any query or any doubt, please do write down into the comment box. And yes, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you students for your patience.